She has a plan, a secret mission filled by gratitude and affection. She chooses her mother's favorite breakfast. Delight Foods, House Akoko, a harmonious blend of flavors crafted with care and devotion. The taste of tradition and comfort. In that moment, their connection deepens, a bond strengthened by a shared experience. Delight Foods, House Akoko, a delicious breakfast made with care and love in just 2 minutes.
All right, there was a former about SBTV Africa, so the voice of the community. And then Friday, thank God it's Friday, 5:30 on the dot GMT. Now, only say Fridays be at 5:30, you know. Many wise man solicitors and about everything come on, and then your breaking news. No, yeah, they by week, but latest updates after so breaking news, breaking concerning dependent we visa honey idea you cannot care any dependent idea UK for the buy any idea this update in the bremo say next year no omo twem dependence visa no mo twem ni idea no yeah this update in the bremo intend yeah babe tie latest update after that say before so about app many lawyer there only say lawyer do feel apparently many lawyer wisdom akao so babe joining up share live or your YouTube channel also SBTV Africa and as soon as you streaming live so a Facebook page SBTV Africa but yeah na monta join here mo amonim say the videos na am show Facebook page you know just teasers the more full videos I na go for bisa but the link it also and my main straight na me lawyer wisdom aka wise man solicitor FM DJ nya me like share for o question bi apesa obisa lawyer bi and for comment section obey ano amount time na do obey ano amount if or questions bra so bisa question be so bisa concerning the baby discuss any other question be so bisa no bit me bisa it me go straight am ne lawyer wisdom akawo wise man solicitors lawyer
Papa DJ
akwaba
yeah no ya at the same
nyame adom ya wo ye pa na mo so
Adom boko fine ya feel so what giant ya feel
wise man say and I was studio B nti uko studio A wise man solicitors so lawyer Francis lawyer Amwa the last me ba or no I busy see you know
no I tight no I hot
oh me say oh DJ Jami oh Charlie welcome I'll be with you soon. Why busy? I'm on for training.
You want to start it here,
Anyway, lawyer with the Macau. Then the latest update. I said Ghana phone him. The mom. The latest update after the breaking news. You know, a week we mono. You can say you better Friday and you be discuss it. Ne actually latest updates. Maybe about app. Ne measures I bet me taking near there. Into Abe joining and there. Me baby jama na over to you, Julati.
Me that say. Me ma appreciate pansu. And then the 8th of December and take 23 days. I think now we are finishing the year. And DJ, me ma appreciate papa.
Afisa person come SBTV Africa fans
yes, thank you. Right. DJ, last week, this week, breaking news, no, I just want to quickly go over it and then I know there are some questions that will develop out of it near share. Now, himself, and I won't be bringing himself home office at the provision for health and care for visa say UK ha and our amanoning na so bi UK ha or employer or care home na obetumi ama ejuma say weba as a carer then of course obetumi your visa application na udi aba I know Nanipa Bibre Eddie year applications by between for about 3 years now, between 2020 to 2021, 2022, 2023, a lot of applicants about UK through the health and care visa route. So now the provision nso ma ho kwan sɛ woba a wobɛtumi de w'abusuafoɔ anaa wo dependents de aka ho de aba. So a lot of applicants came with their spouses and their children. So that was the situation. And of course, we share statistics now. Home Office for said the Secretary of State said about 100,000 applicants were granted visa to come to the UK as healthcare workers. 100,000 applicants. And our visa is successful to come to the UK up to September 2023. Now, this 100,000 people, their dependents, and so is 120,000 people. And this I share the main applicants and their dependents is a total of 220,000 people and more. So that is 100,000 main applicants plus 120,000 dependents into about 120,000 and more of this category tier 2 workers na aba. Now, based on these statistics, the Secretary of State for Home Department, Mr. Cleverly, say there has been abuse of the system. In other words, dependents now, particularly now, applications. Let me put it this way. Usually, the main applicants nearby, as I say, only a juma or the nearby, and as I say, or juma with that company. Dependents in the in any other company. So let me say it again. The dependents are able to work in multiple companies, whereas the main applicants can only work with the company that brought them to the UK. And because a lot of the main applicants are having difficulties with the employers, they are not in employment. And the dependents, now statistically, the Secretary of State say out of the 120,000 dependents now, who should be in employment or should contribute financially to the locals, to the UK's economic system, financial system, only 25% of the 120,000 are actively contributing to the financial system of the UK. And it means out of the 120,000, half of that is 60,000 and another half of that is 30,000. So it means only 30,000 applicants, 30,000 people are working, the dependents are working, whereas the 90,000 are not, but they are rather depending on the system. I know Mr. Cleverly wanted to stop the abuse of the system. They want to stop the system being abused. And to all the measures be set from the spring of 2024, which is March 2024, somewhere the middle of March 2024, or the Abbas said, they are going to stop the dependents coming to join their sponsors. In other words, so we are main applicants, to me but your dependents, any woman cannot come to join you in or from spring of 2024. That to him would address and arrest the abuse of the system, because some people are abusing the system and he thinks it is not fair. So that is what it is supposed to be from his perspective, and that would address the abuse. So from spring of 2024, that is in March, the Secretary of State says the UK is going to stop admitting dependents of care workers. But that is the major thing. But the other side also is that Now, care homes be everything employing for UK have. Some of them are not regulated by the Care Quality Control Commission. They are not being, they are not being regulated by the Care Quality Commission. So, any company or any care provider that will be able to now provide or admit people to come or sponsor a visa, they now have to be registered and regulated by the Care Quality Commission. So that is very important. The companies or the providers will now have to be registered with the Care Quality Commission before they can sponsor the visas for people to come to the UK. Now, before you even register with or you are regulated by the Care Quality Commission, they'll have to subject you to a whole lot of checks, controls, checks to be sure that you meet the requirements before they give you that certificate that you are qualified to provide the standard of care that is needed. So, and also another way of limiting the companies that can bring people in. So, one, they limit the companies that can bring people in, and secondly, they are limiting the number of dependents that can also come in. And don't see the solution to this problem is set upesa uya applications beer and yes before March 2024. If you do that before March 2024, then you will be exempt from the changes that will take effect from the spring, that is March 2024. So do whatever you can, as much as you can, obtain all your necessary documentations within the rules, and please make sure you submit your application before March 2024 for yourself and for your dependents to come and join you here in the UK. So that is one very important aspect I want us to be aware of. Number two, Home Office is saying that, or the Secretary of State, they are going to increase the threshold of financial requirement for the care workers. Currently, they are subjected to 20% discounts. Employers are given that benefit that, look, you are supposed to pay, let's say, 38,700. However, because we want people to come to the UK to work, we want you to pay 20% less. 20% less, not the 38,700, but 20% less, so that you can attract more people to come to the UK. The Secretary of State is saying that from spring of 2024, they are going to up the level of salary threshold to the level that is supposed to be. No more 20% discount for foreign employers or for employers in the care sector. And then they're going to raise the requirement to £38,700. Minimum salary, I'd say, in the news, but I just want to break it down a little for you. So what they are saying is that so we are care provider now for Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, or anywhere in the world, ever from her. As I saw, the amount to the tune of £38,700 and sana what to make or ediaba. So one, as I said, register and be regulated by the Care Quality Commission in order to sponsor a visa, and two, employer, you are supposed to pay £38,700. So these are the two responsibilities on the providers of services, on the care companies, or on the care homes. That is what it is. You have to register with the Care Quality Commission, that's number one. Number two, you have to pay £38,700, not less than that. So those are the two changes within the health and care sector. The third thing is the Secretary of State said from 2012, already the financial requirements every year for family sponsorships, family spouse applications, that is husband and wife, outside the UK, you have to show me and £18,600 and £18,600 a year. And sana wotome akofa wo ho kwafo aba. Now, that law was introduced in 2012. It is how many years now? 11 years now. That was on the 9th of July 2012. It's gone past 11 years now. Secretary of State Nisi, since that provision was brought into effect, they haven't changed that number or that figure up to date. So after 11 years, so they are going to raise the financial requirement from the threshold that it is now, that is the 18,600. They are going to raise it to the requirement of 38,700 pounds, the same as the care workers requirement, 38,700 pounds. And to be honest with you, we think that that is draconian. That is not realistic. Set Obermasu from 18,600 to 38,700. That is more than 100%, because a times two mpua, it is still less than 38,700 pounds. So it is more than 100% increment. And also, Osi Amudi Ebeba. And again, say, wo to make your application, ansana, and society bar, then I believe, sir, you will not be affected by the changes if they do take effect. You will not be affected by the changes if they do take effect from spring next year. From 18,600 to 38,700. This is very unrealistic and pretty very harsh, because Saudi fee 18,600 edico 20,000 and 22, 23, 24, 25 and is high. But to lift it from 18,600 to 38,700, for some of us, we think it is not realistic and it is not reasonable within the ambit and provision of the rules. In fact, Nipa sang ena amoteme eji 18,600 pounds a year. So see aye kasampono, how many people earn 18,600? It is not easy to make that amount, and to say, which is about 1,550 pounds a month. So say no, amodi call 3,225 pounds a month. So that is more than times two. More than times two. For me, again, I would say it is not very, very realistic. So you should lift it from 1,550 a month to 3,250 pounds a month. I think that is quite harsh. And I suspect that it will go to court. It will be challenged in court because almost implemented this rule here. It means that nipa bebre entering kofa omoyiri any omokuno emma UK. It's going to be an effect on their human rights, their family life, and etc. etc. Now, say uwo eba and also enyankai amufrandi enyameka. So you are looking at over 45,000 pounds if you have a child or two, you want to add them to the application. It's going to be very difficult or almost impossible for some category of people to bring their spouses to the UK. So that is where we stand. But if you want to avoid all the changes that are coming, you don't want to know whether it's going to go to court. And if it goes to court, we have no idea how long it's going to be. And before the court makes a decision, whether they are going to be successful in court or not, whether it's going to change or not, we have no idea. And to avoid it, end your application before the changes take effect. Fawiri, fawukuno, fawuma, ebra, ansana, to me, any changes before the changes actually take effect. So please take that and bear it in mind. Now, the Secretary of State said they are increasing the health surcharge, which we are all aware of, from 1,560 pounds, which is actually 624 pounds a month. A year. 624 pounds a year to 1,035 pounds a year. Now, if you look at all these two things, you wonder what is going on. Already, Muslim will raise the income threshold to 38,700. And on top of that, you want to raise the IHS again from 624 to 1,035. So what are you saying? That people shouldn't come to the UK, people shouldn't bring their spouses? Impliedly, that is the argument any reasonable person would make. Say, UK. But I strongly believe that it will, all these things will be subject to litigation in court, particularly the increment from the 18,600 to the 38,700. Because with the IHS, the Secretary of State says they want to raise 1.3 billion pounds for the health services in the UK. 1.6 billion pounds for the health services in the UK. 1.6, 1.3 billion, 1.3 billion, 1.3 billion pounds for the health services in the UK. And that is why they are increasing the amount. Now, let's all be very mindful of the fact that if you apply before the changes, you are safe. If you apply after the changes and it doesn't go to court or we are not successful in court, it means you have to pay that amount. You have to pay that amount. Now, I know that we have MPs. We have MPs. So if you have an MP, please lobby through your MP. Lobby through your MP. That is a very, very strong way of lobbying through the MPs so the MPs can carry our voices to Parliament to say, look, these increments are not being reasonable, and therefore, can you reduce the amount? Or you may keep it where it is, or you reduce it. Otherwise, a lot of people's family life will be affected. And on that basis, they will not be able to bring their families to the UK. And so, please lobby through your MPs so that MPs can carry your voices to Parliament to make a presentation and argue on our behalf. So that is one way we can fight this thing. The other way we can also do it is normally people set up this. It's a link, an online link. It's not a survey. It's this thing, a petition. It's online petition. Now Ghana for normally obedi petitions are about. We are afraid to sign up to it, or we are afraid to register our opinion or our choice, or our, to add up to the petition. Now, normally it's a petition, say, bar, it's supposed to, you have a certain threshold, I think 100,000 signatures. If you hit 100,000 signatures, then it will be considered in Parliament. I think that's the figure. But about say, we talk amongst ourselves, we'll be the petition, but to draw. People don't do it. And if the petition is not signed, it doesn't go to Parliament. It's not considered. So, if there is a petition, I know of petitions that have been brought up concerning even the increment of the 18,600 to the 18,600. Petitions were brought out. Ghanaians did not respond. I think we needed about 100,000, petitioners. We did not even get 10,000. We didn't even get 10,000 out of the many people in this country, the many foreigners, not only Ghanaians, but across board, all the blacks, all the colored people in this country, or anybody, immigrants, let me put it, immigrants, who can actually make their voices heard. The immigrants don't respond to these petitions, and therefore the lawmakers get away with their proposals and their policies, and it comes to affect us. We talk, we complain, by the petition, Basa and signer, nobody wants to sign it. And therefore, when the changes are made, we all tend to suffer. So please, this is very important. Lobby through your MPs. Please sign the petitions when it comes up. If it comes up, I'll let you know, DJ. I'll put it on the platform, or I'll give it to you to populate around so that all Ghanaians and all Nigerians, all Africans, all immigrants can please register their the petition, so that we can have a way out, or we can have our voices heard in Parliament. That is serious. Increment from 18.6 to 38 is serious. Now, the Home Secretary is also saying that they want to, of course, he has emphasized the fact that graduates, first degree holders can still not bring their family members. That has, he also emphasized that. And he says they are also looking at the graduate route so that only people who are capable of supporting their sponsors can bring them to the UK. They don't want people to become burden on the system. They don't want people to become burden on the system. Now, some of their argument and reason is that among Foba Kronumwa, they bring their children, perfect, which is supposed to be the case. But it means there is extra pressure on the borough in which they are to get schools for the children, to get housing for them, to access the NHS. So it puts pressure on their system. That is a good argument, but it is not the end of the argument. The other side of it is, yes, people's human rights would also be affected if you put a barrier in their way. So I will say again, please, please, please apply before the time. And if these cases go to court, then we have a hope that the monies will be reduced. But even if not reduced, before then, let's speak to our MPs. Let's sign the petitions. Let's sign the petitions so that we can have our voices heard. Let's have our voices heard. So DJ, that is the main updates. But I want to add one thing which has come up a few times again this week. This is also an equally relevant issue I want to deal with now. And then we go on to the questions if you have some. Revocation of visas. DJ Nyame, first, we used to worry about visas not being granted. Visas not being granted. Now we are worrying about visas that have been granted and are being revoked. Two things. First, we were worrying a lot of times now saying omodima ebinomo, not across the world, omodima ebinomo, but omodima then they turn around to revoke the visa that has been issued. Now the question is, why is this happening? The facts are with the application akutum. The facts are with the visa amount. It is not the end of it. Inside, it is possible. Now, this particular instance of the revocations, for the past 2-3 months, we've had series of issues regarding revocations. A Benumu Korea application, already some false documents. I talked about this last week. False documents, no Edika application. Set almost issue visa anyway, and then they go and conduct their checks and realize that the visa was issued wrongly. Then they'll write back to you to cancel or to revoke that visa that was issued to you. That is it. One kasa, if they find out that you yourself you use some false document, they'll revoke your visa. If you apply with your partner, they'll revoke her visa. If you have a child, they'll revoke the child's visa. So that is if you and your partner did application first. The next category is so any will you and I will my visa application later more application ama and amoma na almost documents libya modiaka application on enye papa yeba refuse abofra de no na wonsu de na ye de ama no yeba revoke wonsu de no yeba refuse abofra application then they cancel or revoke who de na ye de ama de no they revoke that as well. We are dealing with these issues a lot of times these days. I mean, many times these days. Several applications are being revoked. Application decisions, visas that have been issued are being revoked. Only because they go back and find out that some documents have been used in support of the application, and that should not have been the case. I spoke about this last week. I took my time to address the documents that can amount to false documents. And it appears that we aren't probably getting the message right. I don't think revocations are still going on. Take Israel set Uber application via. Please, if you can, just use the right documentation. Speak to lawyers, speak to legal helpers. Yeah, problems don't arise sometimes through these helpers in terms of the agents. There are excellent agents, excellent visa agents that assist people. We thank them for the good works. And it's almost name some other agents almost say on then they should please caution them, bring them up so that they wouldn't mess their work up. Because we are good visa agents that assist people, legally registered, and they assist people. If that is the case, you should protect your business and not allow other, quack agents to spoil your work for you. And to someone them not someone them set particularly obi or say or agent meanwhile no I would ask you the visa agents yourselves amongst yourselves to please speak so that errors or those errors can be corrected. And yes, sir, it would affect more we genuine ones no obi adia no, it ends up affecting all of you. So please you be the checks amongst yourselves so that it doesn't affect other people. But it is becoming too much. It's becoming too much. And the refusal rate, the revocation rates, all because documents that shouldn't be used are being used. False bank statements, I said it last week, is an issue. I know, system now, I am hot. DJ Nyami Anope, many gentlemen be Ekasaye. He is a top businessman, Ghana, and he's been in his business for a long time. Menene Kasaya, I say lawyer, and easy. Yenga, yejina yenansupono. We can't stand. And we just want to Yebusi and to me, they should all just leave the system because I say they just can't stand it. They just can't stand the taxes, the increment in the dollar rate, the pound rate, just can't stand. So we understand. The system is a bit hot, but so also yeah, application B, visa application B, please use the right documents. Not anchor effective, and then which will lead up to the topic I treated last week, which is 10-year ban. Please, it's become very concerning to we, the lawyers in the UK, especially lawyers dealing with issues and applications for Ghanaian nationals, are becoming very concerning. And please, we are pleading with you, do the right things so that we don't get ourselves into these problems. It's tarnishing the image of the country, and I have to say, document BIF Ghana Airban, they are scrutinizing it before they proceed to give visas. Yeah, the more they go back and check again. So they end up revoking your visa. So please, that is what I thought I should let us know. I have one more thing I can talk about, but DJ, so your questions there. I can take the questions, and if I have a bit of time, I can address the other problems that arise.
Lawyer Wisdom Akaho, wise man solicitors, champion man. My main shame is screen, so I think sir, you will few ones here, but some of the journey or SBTV Africa, I'm share live or a YouTube channel SBTV Africa. So actually, I was streaming live, so a Facebook page, SBTV Africa. Fridays be out himself from 6:30 to 7 minutes. Lawyer Wisdom Akaho. I say, what about questions? Yeah, obviously, we'll be sent away. UK come on, and the so be sent Australian come on, no name. Bibisano, Germany, onim, but about UK, and be a concern UK biano, or bet me, if I UK will be an obet me, A1. My main a question be woman. I mean, Yanka, oh, to ask for the question in once, but say,
okay.
Maybe I'll bet me to us time to do an anchor with the question in once. Agbena.
Okay, Minya, a few information on visit visas with regards to the refusals and how to avoid them. And last time, I know I can say about briefly. Now, I've done a bit of research from a very reputable source, and he made a few very important points. So, upesa uya visit visa application. DJ ya kaya se, on sorry kekena, and just submit the application. The submission of the application is not the issue. Sir, who submit the application? No, that is not the issue. I think you are more concerned about the result of the application. Ni ebe fi mu aba no, eno na efa wo ho. Enye se o complete form no online na wo di akokeke. Eno de se obi abetime aye, but ni ehia won say ye di asitna na ebe ma. Now, the problem is visit visas before. So you refuse to visit visa application now. Ultimate a challenge, ultimate a court. Now the judge, the court to make a decision. And the home office for AG right of appeal no a fee ho. Because ultimate court nancy, ni omo peno and a homo ye. Omo say, baby anywhere, ultimately ako. You can't do anything. You can't find them anywhere. Appeal no, and almost saying administrative review so if you the right to administrative review and also if you and teachers say refuse you do sick and I want to mean apart from maybe going for judicial review if there is a human rights element in it. But even human rights, is so difficult for you to prove that this refusal breaches your human right. The only time or the few times that me I challenge your visit visa refusal on the basis of human rights, me say, hey dear, obi entiapo, o brother, o sister, o mame, uba entiapo, extremely seriously. Na ehiasa uba ebeshana. And no someone from Mawa, it constitutes a breach of your human right. On that basis, you can take it for judicial review, not administrative review, but judicial review. We have admin review and we have judicial review. Administrative review, and it goes back to the Home Office. Judicial review goes to the court. The disadvantage with the judicial review is that the court will not tell the Home Office to give you the visa. I'm country Home Office for say, Mumpa visa no emano, and I'm Mumpa Number kind of say the Home Office should review. They should look at their decision again. So the Home Office can look at it again and tell you, we are sorry, you still don't qualify. You go back to admin review again, to judicial review again. They say the same thing. So it's going to be over and over and over and over again. You come into absolutely nothing. So technically, near Home Office Professor Michel said, visit visa dear, your pair, and the only thing you can do again is to go for another visit visa application. Visit visa application. How do you do it? The additional points I noticed was take your time to prepare your bank statements. That is where the problems normally are. And we have identified that as a explanation of the money that come in and out. In fact, printing bank statements, natural on the bank statement itself, right on the bank statement itself. And it's a Kebia account, now area 1,500 and now 15,000 Ghana, 20,000 Ghana, 30,000 Ghana cities in Abamwa. The bank statement, Sankasano. You can have two bank statements, the same bank statement. One is clean copy, make a photocopy of the same bank statement, and natural 20,000 Ghana cities deposited was from maybe my rental income, or from my taxi business, or from my pure water business. Another 30,000 was for my Uber business. You actually write it on the bank statement, not on a different paper. Write it on the bank statement along or against that entry of the bank statement. But say now, enco affected the amount on the bank statement or that it cannot be readable. You have one clean copy and then one annotated copy. One clean copy of the bank statement and one annotated copy. So you tell the caseworker that this is a clean copy and this is annotated copy. It's the same bank statement, but one is a photocopy of the other one. But because me chro we sonunti, one share na me chro no akwa affecting ya the statements want to me and kind and nonting up maybe one clean copy and one annotated copy. You put this together so you can write on the bank statement annotated, and then bank statement clean copy is the same bank statement. The same bank statement. Very important. Explain the amounts on the entries on the statements. Please do that. Very important. The next thing is that write a cover letter. Write a letter. That is what the advice we have obtained from this legal, our senior person in the field who gives us some nuggets. Right, and he is in touch with these institutions. He's a solicitor, a top lawyer, and of course, we get this information from that source, from our sources of where we get our information from. He says, "You, wa apart from o brother, o sister, o uncle, o papa, or invite you. One kasan so central letter, ekfaka application on. Say employer more letter, faka one person so central letter say me so and so person me adwuma ewo ha me Jessica say to send ya mo ho ewo my bank statements no me ba besra me papa for this period to this period me ba me shopping ewo ha meko ha me wi a me sa akopa to my country and if wo one kasa wo letter eka nipa na or invite you letter no ho na ka your employer so letter no what is her letters me and say can one at least it shows some consistency, some trend of the story across board. So very important. Then the next thing is the third party support. The third party support is so one kasa and your one kasa na would share the application fee. Your one kasa na would share the home office fee. The plain fare. And it's the car say and your one kasa na would jump. The law, Appendix V, allows for third-party support. Third-party support, which means obi pufro betumi etria ama. Betumi your papa, unuya, brother, your sister, your uncle, your any family member, friend, but they have to show the relationship and they have to explain nientia omu etria sa. They are sponsoring you who play fair. Any secure will say they want to know. If a third party is sponsoring you, the third party must also write a letter and explain that they are fully aware that you are using their documentations and they are sponsoring the visa on your behalf. They are sponsoring you. That is very important. So I've mentioned three things. Number one, letter. So I want to make sure I'm being and approve it. The sign. Number two, bank statement, annotate it. Write on the bank statement the sources of the money that is showing in the account. Write on the bank statement. Rental income, pure water business income, taxi business income, block factory income. So not all this shows that this is the monies you receive from these different sources. So that is all of this. And then Nipana, our sponsor, or the third party, should also add a letter explaining the relationship and why they are sponsoring you. And of course, their bank statement to show that they have enough funds to sponsor you on your visit. Now, with that, at least it puts you in a better position than say you just roll that leaves you exposed. That leaves you exposed to a lot of the refusals that they just refuse people. So that is what I thought I should add up to the visit visa representations. Now, also to have a good representation, you have to set out the rules. You don't just so over to me mention the rules that this application is under Appendix V or Appendix Visitors of the home of the UK laws. Just don't go into too much details. Appendix Visitors of the UK laws or the UK Visitors laws. And no, that is what I am applying under. And then you set the rules and how they are met. Number one, I am a genuine visitor because I would go back to my country after the visit. I don't intend to stay in the UK. Number two, financial requirements. I meet it because I have XYZ amount and I will be able to pay my plane fare back and forth, my shopping, my food, and everything. And I made that one. In addition to that, my brother, my sister, my uncle, my father, my auntie is paying for me. And this is the evidence from there. So you do a little heading, financial, what fast here with a line. Then you say how that is satisfied. The next one you do it has to do with the documents. You put a line under it. You say these documents I'm providing. You deal with previous refusals. We have already said that. Deal with previous refusals. If you don't deal with the previous refusals, it will be used as a basis to refuse your application. I can guarantee that. If you do not deal with previous refusals, your visa will be refused. So if you have applied before and your visit visa has been refused once, twice, three times, please set it all out. First refusal was because of these requirements not met. I have met it now with XYZ. Second refusal was because these documents were not provided. I have not provided. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third refusal was because maybe I missed out one page in the bank statement. I have not provided pages 1 to 25, covering 3 months or 6 months of my bank statement. Yes, I said I was employed, I was an employee, or I have a self-employed business. This is evidence of the business account. This is evidence of my personal account. This is proof that the business pays me and it goes into my personal account. So you have to link this just like DJ and I actually mentioned last week, and DJ re-emphasized that. Please, if you can, set it out and set it out well. On that basis, your case will be looked at into details. Now, if you do not address the previous refusal, they will just copy and paste another refusal for you. And until I answer, you have to address the previous refusals. That is very important. Cross refer to evidence and statements. Cross refer to evidence and statements. On page so and so, on the 15th of January 2023, Midisika say etomo. That money was for XYZ. So I've already mentioned that. So cross refer to evidence and statements. And then set out policy guidance and case laws. So over to me, ejina case laws be so. And over to me, I cited some case laws. I can say, look, this case law says if somebody makes an application and they provide a third-party support, and I need papa and I need my sponsor na emranoma ho kwan say esesemo hwe sa nipa document. And until na me papa and I me mama and I me nua sponsor me na that's supporting my application. So policy guidance, share policy guidance be na ebobo, case laws be na supportive application. Now, if you are able to do this and set it out well, Mejidi said they'll look at your application the second time. Now, to send the good statements. Good statements are very important. If your bank statement is porous and you change the money into pound sterling and it's going to be only 250 pounds, please don't waste your time because it will be refused. To refuse. Obi frame and pay or see the pounds has started going up again. Because of the Christmas, the dollar, the pound, the cities have started just whittling down again, and the pound is going up, the dollar is going up. That is what he told me. I haven't checked today, but that is what he says. Please, open your application there. Make sure Whatever amount of money you have in your account, convert it into pound sterling and see how much it is in pounds. Do that service to yourself. Do yourself that service by converting it first. If you convert it, not Sikanawa account only 750 pounds, 550 pounds, 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, set. Even 1,500 pounds equivalent of your cities. Ask yourself. These are the questions you have to ask yourself. So, me top ticket out of the 1,500, Sena Ebeka. How long am I coming for? How much am I going to spend on feeding myself? How much am I going to spend on even transport, commute? How much am I going to spend in shopping or on shopping? Now, while we are some mass here, who said your visa will be allowed or not. So you have done your own homework first before you even take it to them. So please, Momoding, no matter the amount of money you have in your account, convert, go to Oanda, O-A-N-D-A, Oanda, O-A-N-D-A, and convert the money into pounds from Ghana cedis, new cedis, to pounds sterling. Remember exactly how much your money is. Remember exactly how much your money is. DJ, last time, may be printed, my bank statement be if you Ghana, Emma. In fact, na me kasa mi was kapa, na me kasa mi wo Ghana cities papa. Oh, DJ, me dey share Oanda. Maybe £2 and another night. Somebody. So you think you have a lot of money, but when you convert it to pound sterling, you'll be surprised at how little you have. So always do that before you send the application. I'll leave it here. DJ, some more questions there.
Lawyer wisdom, Macau. Go convert it CDD to pounds. Sikana etokunya. Yes, the Emre.
Oh, on this statement is sending me. I made sure I was like, wow, that's good. And I say, I've been able to tell it, convert the thing and see.
Yes, the Emre. And so count now. Visa journey at the end, so I problem because oh, JAB, I say, be Juma or Honey, channel de Ubisi or 7,000, 6,000, 8,000. So convert it into pounds. Now to Kunya Fiabi.
Yeah.
500, maybe 500 pounds, 400 pounds.
Yes.
It's Brodino so or show Usikani or Honey at the end. No, just say be a Obana. 2,000 pounds near the end. Oh, my back. You said the calculation of the real and in the preno.
I don't know how the real every day.
I branted over me chrome way, say, Obey, might be an old jobs near the not starting at 2,000, but almost no, I won't consider because 2,000 pounds now go for any Mukasa, 2,000, but 1,000, 5,000, 825, no lawyer. At the end of the month, no, Sikana must save. Oh, the reality, no, the only 2,500 will say 2,000 pounds. Many baby akasa. At the end of the month, no, I no to me save. And to say, Hana, Obunisika will name no bitika 600, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. No, to me, yes, I see can one account, prove baby on your scanner, one be and the business we know 10,000. Sadi pano, okay, or Ghana, how it's Sasi canon.
Yes.
Because I will convert it because you're okay. I mean, says I will convert it more you can but the expenses need be area. Almost a one kind of 500 pounds, 700 pounds, and you're the same as Asicana Mino.
And I agree with you. But near Woody Bahano, I guess a Ghana citizen of our spending a whole. How is in our spending? Yeah, can say Bako Oanda, so OANDA, with the 10,000 Ghana as Shesu. Back with £660, 79p. Would be already 10,000 Ghana cities. 660. Let me say 661 pounds. Wow. And obronation is when I'm saying 10,000 Ghana cities is equal to 661 pounds here. Right. How many months and I was saving Sasikano for? And Sanawanya 2,000 pounds. That is several months or several years. So why would you want to come and spend your 2,500 in only 1 week or 2 weeks? And these are the arguments they use to refuse.
Yeah. I know so the say what bra for the whole year save some sick and also the some few 3 weeks paper spend this ask.
Exactly.
And you see another ways be on the say no, it's impossible.
It's impossible. Who share a 10,000 Ghana cedis, the expenditure maybe be now kind of 5,000 Ghana cedis, let's assume. So that 5,000 Ghana cedis is about 330 pounds. 330 pounds was saving for, let's say, 10 months, and so now you have 3,000 pounds now in his account, his or her account. Now, why would you want to come and spend your savings for 10 months on or in just 1 week? And see, I'm sure this almost say no, they don't believe that all your 10 month savings, you just want to come and spend it in 1 week and then go away another 2 or 3 weeks. And see, they have all kinds of reasonings. I'm already refusing him. Sometimes their reasonings are not right, but they just use it anyway because I'm going to visit visa you refuse and yeah, idea. But me dia court.
A lawyer, the omo buy a kroma, Sani finchim.
Now, it's unfortunate that policies and are driving the direction of movements. So, I have to say, here are more than they need us. Of course, you literally sometimes, they come to do business most of the times. We also come to work, or most of the times visit and go back. But if you look on the scale, the balance now, I say they have more advantage over us. And don't they use their policies against us. And your system is strong enough to weigh in our favor. I am sure we can negotiate.
The cry, and because last week the cry would me and say from Titino. Visa dear, none can you say a headache. Some common beer visa, or your wife say, Oko beer swap. Some common to me more beer visa. But the reason why I is a more heading for some years, and I be doing then they say, ye qua, the can say, be ye qua in this, ye qua yemba. Lawyer, no.
And also come, yes.
And also, number one, na say a visit, make a visit. Ye qua near go difference na ya emba. Inti about the son. I started any generation so make way back for no. Ye qua yemba, the brain number. And intia. But o share other reality na me no can lawyer unim. Ye qua yemba. No. Osha ebian so ye tu kwan say ebian say we tu kwan na we ka just say hey chale membo kromash but se ukọ na uba emma another chance we another another chance e dey obey say sanya ma we na obey ma broni ndi ba jiwa tum ukọ ye ukan e waba next time ukọ obesa ma.
Yes.
So let me go out there say. Me so me find example now.
DJ got the boss.
Okay. 2019, me visa. 2019 my first time I buy UK. Me call ye. Omo me 6 months. We could do 1 month pay. And I me buy man kubio.
Good.
Visa ni nyashi man kubio. Minim say dachi, me say kubio. Me call omo de be mami. Me obi me say omo de be mami. Me buy bet now 2021 second we did about 2020 uncle.
Yes.
2021 me call ye and on my mommy and I'm spending months days na me ka se me diga kra wona me san me chi buy third time so me call ye so much at their mommy
why there
no how much at their mommy enti obi wo ho a enye obi a me ka so obi a na betimi access na me yi but obi wo ho a kwa bebre na beka tale a shime board in last nyanti okwa ma
DJ
no ko no amba no na unu ebi kwa na wa block chance
say enye nya wo ye na obi a eye And then to Obino to say realistically, when you have one chance in life to fight, and when we see that opportunity, that's it. And to what battle, just Oba, why not? It is any account minimum beer, may Matthew beer, or a top ranking officer, one of these places, top ranking officer, no buy with one of these programs. And subordinates no, nay, genius. A friend say, hey, mother, if you come back at this one, it's up to you. The subordinates, and then made simple, the subordinates, a friend, because they have good relationship with the master, since you left, the way things are, if you come back, this is up to you yourself. So, the same year came, different circumstances, different scenarios,
Yes. But me study one thing say who say obi from whole country for or Australia or Canada or America the way anything. Yeah, Africa hand me who say Africa land na say me who say I say I think me provide documents be according to back we be say onyama be adan momo no if you lawyer who say how go US who ye adwuma me just say who ye adwuma do base slip ba and then me no be bisa e be booking who go hotel US we book hotel and then me no be bisa embassy or then no be bisa obi
o me bisa about idea excess of a samba back into ye adwuma letter from your employer, your pay bank statements, plus say who family or UK ha what made the evidence account. I just so
crana o mo fan kan come ba yan say no nyama o boy ni na no and no ye be times 3 provide documents we bring the lawyer o must be kan ba that's all we can yeah obi ye ko embassy obi ti be craft fa kese sa update lawyer document me the even require documentation me tikwa boom papers me senior lecture
DJ the bargaining power. A few years ago, some years ago, now all the policy be by say we invite you be as a so the security to her as a guarantee. Say nipa na sign and come back to any country, you will forfeit that amount of money. And all African countries, in fact, I know Nigeria was very instrumental in that. Hello? DJ? Hello? Okay, I think his line is frozen if I am still on. DJ? Okay, I don't know if I am still live, but okay. Okay. Now, yes, a few years ago, it was proposed that so sponsor will be as I said, would some amount of money to her and sign out me as sponsor Nepana. Unfortunately,
lawyer yeah take ko e kakra o yenya technical we be me say me call off
yeah, so called off.
Every me I say yeah I went off sorry move on chain. Okay, so lawyer and they are just by the way I'm between mu almost requirements we need to find ways and means and whatever we here for to prove to them say okwa we have to do it me they make kind the freestyle and between mu keke but time as soon say you better take questions and to questions time as soon more the way ni ba nya ba my lawyer now we be can questions in straight.
Now because a few years ago, now they wanted us to have some guarantee amount. So being invited to be 1% will this can be 2 and if answer you forfeit that money. And all the countries came against that. Nigeria was very instrumental, Ghana and all the embassies. No, you can't do that. And they withdrew that policy. You see, and the difficulty, I think the problem we also have is lack of unity among the countries. Now, if all these countries had come together, because look, our raw materials, our oil, it's also a benefit they get from us. And to yes, able to meet the I a bargaining power. Set the way I'm all treating and call for no, and yet fair. We have a voice, but if there is no unity amongst the countries to negotiate on some of these issues, I'm going to be and then yes, but so say you can't use that guarantee as a basis of issuing visa. They withdrew. That is a very classic example. But because there is no, one voice, and then a creative problem. I hope somebody.
I am on fire and almost said, Charlie, be brain up and say, Kosho Mukru money and dear. I am farmer, more. Says in Canada, a baby and gates here. No,
Oh, yeah.
More. Ghana for no, the Africans, no more, more. They ain't called.
Canada has opened. Canada is issuing, and now say my home post said, from my observation, my home post said, U.S. I a little more relaxed in terms of issuing visas as compared to Hano I get tired, but we share Canada, now share US, now Australia, and say a honor we share statistics now based on it's not scientifically proved, but based on the information we get. I'm say Canada particularly, there's a lot more of visa grants, and the US also there's quite a reasonable amount of visa grants as compared to UK. No.
Kind of in terms of hearing from Africa, no.
Yes, in terms of people from Ghana in particular.
Yeah. Ghana from there, some boy and you to know the Bria Wild. So me the same castle lawyer, my account be shown so that first time. Me say almost 5 million co. And can buy no, buy no. Only ambassadors and some contract ni dey on by nyom be for free hani adi. You per se 5 million Ghanaians spread the echo Europe. It yes say be ko ha 500,000 na dey bi akwa UK, US, Australia. Now my pressure na e wo kroma na ba phone say na be omo so no omo person mo stay na obi na opeka so pa bruchi ono so be nya adwuma ye wa ha. And the lawyer for us. But see, I'm 5 million Ghanaians in Quabrilla. Who's a backup? You can't be on the show. So, I got pressure number from the yeah, they are bogus little man. Yeah, was no bogus little man, no coffee.
What point?
So go alliance, but no kind of macano because town hot. Anyway, my main go straight to that. And take you some of the questions. I mean, also, when you are here, I'm ready. Me call off now, me refreshing when into it. It's I want to get these questions. Some of the questions I can't see, but my started the main one. Okay, let me take you away. Lawyer, take you away. But my starting to say a question number over to me. A pasty will be lawyer. I take you away.
Yo, Lord, please, what is the current situation about the 20-year resident visa? Oh, yes, the 20 years long residence visa. I don't know, a Juma, Juma Papa, near where is what now UK have for the 20-year period and the requirements. Okay, you work now for the 20 years period. And of course, one call for more than 6 months. You went and then you came back within the 6 months. That shows that you haven't broken your continuous residence. And yes, that is possible. But over here, documents are just what's now your old passport now with the buyer. Over here, maybe letter from your employers if you are in employment. because 20 years ago, here Nana, they were not asking for a lot of documentation. So what to mean, yeah, now you've been in that employment up to date. That is good evidence that you are in employment. What to mean letters from, of course, gas, water, electricity, if you have any of these documents in your name. Or to me, again, your pay slips, P60s, HMRC records, employment history, or national insurance contribution, and some other documents are. I bet me I just said what's not from for 20 years. So, sorry, be more. We a member of a particular church. Over to me, a letter from that church also to support the fact that you've been here for the period, and of course, you've been a member of that church from this time up to date. So, with all this supporting evidence, over to me, your application for the 20 years long residence. Appendix PL. That's the law that applies to the 20 years long residence. So it hasn't changed. It is still effective. Hello, Mr. Kusi. Good evening. Please, any law if you are aged between 18 to 25 and spend half of your age here. Example, you came here 24 years and spent 12 years here. Can you apply for leave to remain? And when did this law? Well, yes, there is a provision. In fact, it took effect on the 9th of July 2012. That is when that legal provision was started. I just said what's Nakrumha, and that is what we call it was Appendix 276ADE, paragraph 276ADE, and it is now classified as Appendix PL of the immigration rules. Said Ubaha, if you were between 0 to 18 years and you've lived in the UK for 7 years, you could go for 2.5 years limited leave to remain. And if you are between 18 to 25 years and you've lived here for half of your age or half of your life, of course, and also you are able to apply for leave to remain on the basis that you've spent half of your life in the UK. My applications for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people within this provision of the law. Appendix PL, 20 years. So 0 to 18 years is 7 years. 18 to 25 years is half of your life. 25 years and above is 20 years. If you can prove that, you will get your leave to remain. It's 2.5 years limited leave to remain in the UK. It is a law that is actually working as of today, make us say. So that shouldn't be a problem. Hello, Dawood. I want to know which category of people will pay the health surcharge. Does it include people already in the UK under dependent visas? Yes. When you're going to extend your visa, there are quite a few changes taking place now. There are people who are working in the health sector who sometimes pay, but they are able to get their money back for the IHS. And there are people who are on a skilled worker visa who would have to pay for the extension of their visas, but they don't pay, on some occasions, they don't pay the full fee like everybody else who is on the family route, who have to pay the £624, which is going to be increased to £1,035. So yes, if you are here as a dependent, yes, you would have to pay the health surcharge fee, but it is normally at a lower cost as compared to other categories of people. Sometimes when you get to the final stage of the application, then that is what it generates for you to know exactly how much you have to pay or how much you don't have to pay. I have made applications and some other solicitor friends of mine, and I've read online of people who have made applications and they were not required to pay. But at the decision-making stage, the Home Office came back for them to pay the top-up fee before they made a decision. So that is with regards to dependents. Please, what requirements and documents would be needed to apply for leave to remain under the Appendix FM successfully if one has a student visa? Now, if you have a student visa and you want to switch to the Appendix FM, that is this family, a route, maybe as a spouse or as a parent, you need to provide the following documents. One, if it's on the basis of a spouse, then you need the marriage certificate. If it is not a marriage certificate, then you need proof of 2 years cohabitation with your partner. So I'm looking at the spousal route first. So it's either marriage certificate or 2 years evidence of cohabitation with your partner. That is it. Number two, you will need evidence that you are living, you are, of course, in the UK. So if you are involved in your partner and your partner's children's lives, there's some documents you need from the children's school and, of course, their GP as well. You will need bank statements, 6 months, pay slips, 6 months. You would need English language requirements. If you don't have a first degree obtained in the UK or from outside, you need English language test level A1. Sorry, A2. My apologies. It's A2, not A1. A1 is from people coming from outside the UK to the UK. A2 is for people already in the UK. That is A2. But if you have a degree certificate and your transcript, then you must as well just send it to ACTIS to have a conversion to prove that you meet the English language requirement at the required threshold, that you don't have to do the English language test at level A2. So that is a very important requirement. It's either A2 or the degree certificate and transcript and letter of proficiency in English sent to ACTIS for them to convert or to write to say that, yes, your degree meets a degree in the UK. Again, I've mentioned about pay slips, bank statements. These are very important. Please, how much money should I have in my bank account when when I'm sponsoring my nephew in Ghana he is in one of the universities, University of is in one of the universities in Ghana. All right. Now you're sponsoring him. Are you sponsoring him as a student? Are you sponsoring for a visit visa? We need to know the category of sponsorship that you are undertaking for him. If it's a student, then what you need to know is based on where the university is, how much their fees are, how much is required to pay, and of course, he must have that amount of money in his account for 28 days. He has to, of course, pay the tuition fee. They have a deposit. You have that amount in your account for 28 days. So you need to know the tuition fee, etc., etc. That will be, of course, confirmed by over the duration that you need to have. That's 28 days at least. And then they'll issue the CAS cards for you to apply for your visa. So when it comes to the bank statement, I cannot give one figure because different universities require different fees. So you have to confirm with the university before you know how much is required to be in your account. You need to know how much is required to be in your account. Waiting to ask you a question since last week. Hi, Erin Jaiga. Hi. I have a withdrawal from my previous student visa application. The case was not decided on. What impact does this have on my new student visa application? Well, if you withdrew the application, you didn't go for the biometrics. Normally, once you go for the fingerprint, they would make a decision. I have seen it a few times. Once you go for the fingerprints, they will make a decision. Even if you decide to withdraw, they will still make a decision. But if you haven't been for your biometrics, you haven't provided your fingerprints, and you decide to withdraw, it's as though technically you haven't made an application. And therefore, that should not have any impact on your new student visa application. So the starting point is whether you provided your biometrics or not. That will determine whether they will decide the first application even after withdrawal, or they will totally ignore it and you have a clean slate. That would be the determining factor. Hi, my conditions have changed because I am now a beneficiary of a fully funded scholarship. I withdrew because I didn't have my father's death certificate when it was requested on my previous application. Well, I don't think this particular reason should affect your visa application, your current visa application. So just relax, rest assured, and just pray and trust that everything goes well for you. And we have this one is highlight George Watson. Hi, George Buampong. Hi. If your girlfriend is a tertiary student and not working, can you use your bank statement to cover her when you send her invites? Well, yes, of course. As for a visit, invites, you can send your bank statements to support anyone as long as there is some reasonable amount of money in the account. You could always send that to someone. But I would say please try and write a brief cover letter to prove that you are sponsoring or you are supporting their visit visa application. Maybe because the person is a student and you just supporting them in one way or the other. So please, yes, don't forget to do that. Hello, Obed Ofe Wahene. Uh, Wahene, yes. When the dependent visa ending? When is the dependent visa end? Well, the dependent visa, they I think it's January next year. January that's next month. We are now in December, so January is going to end. It's going to end. So that is what they said. That is what they said. It's going to take effect from January 2024. Can you please touch on the savings account balance if the yearly income does not amount to 18,600 for the regular family-based visa? Yes, I can answer this question. Now, the financial requirement for spouses, if you want to bring your husband or your wife, the financial requirement is you need to meet the 18,600 pounds. But if for any reason at all your income does not meet the 18,600, let's use an example of you earn, let's say, 15,000 pounds. Now, if you earn 15,000 pounds, it means you are short by 3,600. So let me do the math. So we need 18,600 and you earn 15,000 pounds. It means you are short by 3,600. Now you multiply the 3,600 by 2.5 years because 2.5 years now amount. So you multiply the 3,600 by 2.5. 2.5, that is 2.5. That gives you 9,000 pounds. 9,000 pounds. So it means you must have 9,000 pounds in your account plus an automatic savings of 16,000 pounds in addition to the 9,000 pounds. So you need 25,000 pounds sitting in your account for 6 months before you can use a savings to support your 15,000 pounds earnings in a year. So I just used 15,000 pounds as an example. I'll do a second example. Now, assuming that you earn, let's say we need 18,600 and you earn, let's say 18,000. 18,000. So it means you are short by 600 pounds. 600 pounds. So you multiply that 600 pounds by 2.5. The 2.5 is a 2.5 years. I'm going to amount for visa. And it's going to be 600 times 2.5. That gives you 1,500 pounds. So you need 1,500 plus 16,000 pounds automatic savings. Once we are below the 18,600, you need an automatic savings of 16,000 pounds. And see, the count one, we need 1,500 plus 16,000 pounds. So you need 17,500 pounds to be able to meet the financial threshold. If you are adding savings to your earnings, which is below the 18,600. So let me just simplify it for you. 18,600 minus the actual amount you receive is equal to X. Multiply X by 2.5. The total you get plus 16,000, and that helps you out to know how much you need to have in your savings for 6 months before you can add it to your income for your application. Thank you. I'm coming to the UK. That's from Bright. Hi, Bright. I'm coming to the UK with my dependent who is illiterate. If a question is being thrown to her at the immigration, can I translate it for her to answer? Well, it depends on the immigration officer. It depends on the immigration officer. I have been to some places here in the US, and I happened to be at an immigration office, and one of the other, attendees, customers at the service sector was interpreting for another person that they don't know about, because the lady started speaking Spanish to the immigration officer, and the immigration officer did not understand the Spanish. So she just came out and said, "Anybody here who can speak Spanish and interpret?" And somebody went in and then started interpreting for them, which I thought was very relaxed, very reasonable. In the UK, sometimes they would want you to they want to get their own interpreter to interpret for you, so that you don't misinterpret or end up saying things that the applicant or the person is not actually saying. So yes, it is possible, but it all depends on the immigration officer as to whether they just want you to interpret for them or they want to use their own independent interpreter to interpret for your partner. But I am sure that we are application form no. Omo bisa wa form no so say you person you bisa questions language bɛn mu na yɛbɛbisa megye di sɛ woteki twi one teki twi na wokɔ teki English a wontumi mɛdu ha ɛmbɛka sɛ ɔnte Borɔfo nti form na woteki yɛ no nipatwɔ go back on the form and hwɛ sɛ ɛdeɛ na woteki yɛ. Did you take English or Twi or any of the other Ghanaian languages ever or any other Langa, etc., etc.? So please refer to your application form. Thank you very, very much. Hello, Mr. Ajaponga. Please charge please charged a fee at all for 20 years staying visa, or is yes. Well, the fee waiver is for anybody who cannot afford the fee and the home office fee, and then the IHS. So if you want to apply for the 20 years long residence and genuinely you don't have the funds, you don't have the money, it means you are destitute, you can apply for fee waiver. And they'll assess your situation. And again, once they accept that, yes, you deserve to be given the fee waiver, you won't have to pay for the home office fee and the IHS. The home office fee is currently £1,048. It's going to go up. And then the IHS is currently 1,560. It's going to go up to £2,587 or so. So if you don't have the money, please apply for fee waiver and you don't have to pay. Hello, Mr. Ajapong again. It's William here again. Hi, William. If I heard you right, you are on the view that I can provide my payslip or bank statement as proof, but I am not eligible to work. So how can I provide these documents for 20 years? Yes, my brother, you have made a very good point. There's a case called the case of Mahmoud. It's a quite recent case. And then we have another case law, which is the case of ZH Bangladesh. So those cases, particularly, just want to focus mostly on the case of Mahmoud. Now, Mahmoud says if you use somebody's documentations or you use a false identity, even in working, okay, you can still provide those documents to prove that you are the person who used those documents to work. Now they know, omonim se uwo krom ha, uni asitna. By all means, obeye juma. By all means, didi. And yes, 20 years, untimi nko without eating, without surviving 20 years. And omonim, and yes, and omonim se, among bebre wo krom ha, omoni krata, omodi obi die na eye omotwa atwom. They know. Omonim. And this only koka ho say wo na wa use here. Case law no thankfully say once about me approve say wo na with their ejuma no, they should not use that against you. It rather supports the fact that what na from her ejuma over the period. Now you be a or use it 5 different names or use it different 5. The ding and odi ejuma into a gene or you could feed it for 2 years or the buyer or G ya 7 years or the ejuma or binsu dear or the for 10 years or the aba or you binsu dear so 2 years 3 years the ding na boom sam and the application amano. The beautiful part about this particular case is that not our ID cards of a human review, not our ID cards but ID card is on name and our ID is but a dim fufro and there was our ID is and see the ID thing now to one say I mean now anything a DNA different but on name and also yeah when you're sitting now not once not twice not 3 times. The law is what it is. The law is the law, and once you use the law with the supporting documents, they will not say no. And I understand your point, but the point is yes, omonim said amount for the amount for nema age omonim pa and it's what documents no ha we bring you better to be near ever no e dey come it be application amount obanyawa sitting in the UK. Hello everyone. Hello, I'm Italian citizen who came to and study in UK. Please, what's are the procedures? Is it you? Do you want to come or you are already in the UK? Hello, an Italian citizen wish to come. Oh, yeah, I got the message. Thank you. Wish to come and study. It means you are now coming to study. Well, procedures. Contact the universities you want to study with. Do your own research, the course you want to come and study. Liaise with the universities. They would advise you on their fees and their requirements to meet the 40 points of the as a tier 4 student, the English language requirements, financial requirements, and all the other requirements. Once you meet those requirements, the universities will issue you CAS, CAS. And based on the CAS, you'll be able to apply for your visa to come and study in the UK. So this one has to do more with liaison, contacting the universities. And once everything is up to date or done from their side, you'll be able to apply for your visa and you come and study here in the UK. Thank you.
Lawyer, wisdom Macau, me who's the questions maybe do so by a time in a pound, a swamp pound. Lawyer the numbers the good screen so no office line the mobile number nti wait me continue so be be send be so nyame ado next week Friday 5:30 to 7 form questions in prantem me who say question no ye ba be pon na fe na bi mo so aso mu dem mo jinja but time no so aso obi so twen me next interview.
Okay.
Catch a lawyer say ne dey 7 the paper keen into lawyer yeah that's say ne so nya abotra man address no to a print house no London print house no yes we print visa
the application the economy print visa ne dey here lawyer
solicitors London into lawyer for obi person about office or answer obi person fraud contact details in the good screen but obetimi I will boss media
me that say DJ before my question no say who person want me for Christmas paper cho remember me momo account now dey at one man
now you so momo
hey you know momo
ta
you gonna
me got say monzo account monzo
oh they be share you gonna dey UK dey na bo
Ghana, you best I know scare Ghana.
Hey, now some of us call Ghana. Share. One thing you want from passing.
Ah, yes, I know about UK.
DJ, who dem enjoy us,
I know when your points. Okay, yes, one Ghana.
Yo, man.
See the cry, say cool.
Hello, okay, we don't be say the radio system and so I come up. Look, DJ, Wiseman Solicitors, we are happy to help your Dawson Junction, London. Your address no 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 the Print House. 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 the Print House. Your number 8 to 9 the Print House along the Ashwin Street, 18 to 22. Telephone number near wherever postcode. The postcode near E83DL. E83DL. Mobile number near 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. That's the office number. Mobile number is 079 31 411 079 31 411 Lawyer Nana Amwa Ewoho, Mewoho, Lawyer Francis Ewoho, Lawyer Rosemary Ewoho, and to some of friend office line now. We are more than happy to assist you. Some of friend mobile number and swap. We are more than happy to assist you. A bit intimate but because of the Omowanti, we can do telephone conference and a telephone consultation. And I will give you all the required documents. You can post them to us or you can scan them to us. And on that basis, you bet to me higher application edit now. The Mamobia Fishapa say Yami Eddie Yanka DJ. The Maulala next week, Miaga do or Makwe next week on
Okay.
Morning job.
Morning
job.
Nice one. You better lawyer wisdom. Akawase Wiseman Solicitors now every Fridays biano or has say so we new channel so YouTube channel and make sure so better tap on subscribe. And the man on snow me as send a bear live and the video to so obenya be notification time no abe join here. And also do I drink about question I have a brand them. Madam I say videos in there drop be free and videos be free where channel so I'm follow you and the money. We new so I'm about Facebook so Madam I say intimate answer questions now. Next week Friday no beba, but the contact details no boy no bit me I contact no. Mo share na nyina me da mo ase IV upon me da say all the comments by late mame me da say agata me da say root usu big ups make it make sense me da say nesapia me da say P Avenue me da say Tombo Fosu me da say Ima Morrison me da say Aiba Ambel me da say say Aiba say Ambel me da say Michael Edem me da say Frank Odame entry me da say Kasog Abbey me da say Japan William Upoko Japan me da say thank you so much for joining. Nana Isifi me da say Bright Adomako ya know why your question about repeat as I now block you be or the question about once time you do or the better screen so but the same question we repeat no into Demian, thank you so much greetings DJ Nyame. Lordana Pavani me da say Bernardo Usu me da say Solomon Boafo, thank you so much. Joseph me da say I think so Mad Max me da say Salome Kwe, a big shout out to you. What's up? Evans Achu me da say na Akushika, thank you so much. High Spirit TV, thank you so much. William Opoku Japan, thank you so much. Ousu Salvation James, thank you so much. Kwame Kusi, that say time with Hetty, thank you so much. Time with Hetty, big shout out to you. Dawood Ibrahim, thank you. Matthias Rimpon, that say for joining us and name squad no be joining no. I think some about be the Kwejo Boateng me that say Aaron Jaga. Okay, me that say George Boampong. Thank you so much, Obed. Obed, me that say Richard Sego. Thank you. Thank you guys. Madam I say so much for SBTV Africa. Mon call a channel no so videos baby ho. Na mon follow na mon share ma mon now for mon invite mo number join here. The voice of the community. Super so ba me show no so bia. Me ne amam for na here interview. So mo akwantu. O Ghana na o Ghana ha cry bit me here. So o Wi-Fi na Wi-Fi near strong use Wi-Fi ya bit me abaso bi. But me reconnect ni nti na me ntimi nye omo Ghana obu ho a o temale so ba bo ni Wi-Fi. But aba be try to ya only me anu me numbers ya reconnect no you know fit stand o Wi-Fi dey obet me aba so bi nti I mean see obi akwanye say omo Ghana no omo nka but Christmas be ye beti esi kuro me at least back of SBTV Africa Foundation never ko ye some 1212 bi kakra madam I say mon support mon koso na mon support SBTV Africa Charlie abana nyi.
My name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities. Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of Tap. People, Tap Send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on Tap Send.
Delight Cocoa, the authentic, original taste of African porridge. Available in all African and Caribbean shops. Delight Cocoa.
Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job? Then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.